Welcome to Social Media Traction University today. We're processing through a series entitled Monetizing Mayberry. Now, this 12-chapter series provides you a clear understanding of what social media is to business and how you can begin today to implement activities to grow your business and ultimately make money with social media. I'm Mark Bortz, and through this series, we'll hear from Matt Cost, one of our senior account strategists, as well as some other very special guests. We believe that you're going to value this information and begin to find traction with your efforts. We've designed this 12 sessions to build upon each other and to prepare you for realizing real results on the path of success with social. In Chapter 1, the new small town economy, we learned how social media is much like Mayberry, how relationships matter, and how you must get your business involved. And then you need a strategy or a game plan before you actually start. Today we'll walk through Chapter 6 of Monetizing Mayberry, entitled Aunt Bee's Dinner Conversation. If you're familiar with the Andy Griffith Show, you know that Aunt Bee provides the relational glue that keeps the Taylor family and close friends together. Although Beatrice Taylor was the aunt of only Sheriff Andy Taylor, virtually everyone in town called her Aunt Bee. In this chapter, we'll look at how Aunt Bee became celebrated for her wholesome, home-cooked meals and why everyone in town loved to gather at her dinner table. The lessons we learn from Aunt Bee's story will translate directly into your business's success and the new small town economy. In the previous 5 chapters, we laid the groundwork for establishing your social media direction and strategy. We've chosen Mayberry, the idyllic setting for the Andy Griffith Show, as a perfect picture for the new small town economy. In the Mayberry economy, instead of pushing out a brand message through broadcast media, businesses pull their customers in by building relationships with the community and inspiring those customers to spread their word. Since these chapters build upon each other, if it's your first time joining us, it would definitely be worth your while to watch the previous chapters in our archives at socialmediatraction.com/SMTU. These first chapters lay the foundation for each new concept that we introduce, and they provide proper context for this chapter and all of those to come. Ladies and gentlemen, here's Matt.
Thanks, Mark, and thank you for tuning in to today's class. Through the web and other digital advances, the world has become much like a small town, since we can now communicate and interact in real time with those on the opposite side of the planet. Communities are no longer defined by geographical boundaries. Not only is it now much quicker and easier for media outlets to span the globe with information, but ultra-specific communities can now be identified, targeted, isolated, so that the media's message can be uniquely communicated to each particular part of the population. However, the biggest shift in modern communication is the removal of the mass media gatekeeper. No longer is information filtered and disseminated by a select few media giants with the resources to push out a message. Now any individual can act as his or her own media outlet through social networks. You can create your own video channel through YouTube or your own news platform through blogs and microblogs. These technological advancements have made our world much smaller. Geographical barriers and lack of resources no longer stand in the way of becoming a part of other communities around the world. The world is now much like a small town community. We started this series looking at Floyd's Barbershop, an institution in Mayberry with a whole town full of loyal customers. Floyd earned his relational equity over the years in two different places. One, the bench, and two, the barber's chair. The barber's chair is obviously where he conducted business, gave haircuts, and the bench outside his shop was where he connected with customers and prospects. On the bench, he deepened his connection with folks in town and made new connections. Next, we learned what not to do from Mayberry's iconic sheriff's deputy, Barney Fife, who was infamous for shooting himself in the foot. Social media can also be a loaded weapon in your business's holster. On one hand, capable of helping you conquer your competition and take new ground in the market, and on the other hand, capable of doing serious damage to its operator. You and your business's social media administrators must be informed and trained to communicate quickly and thoughtfully in the social networks. Operating with social media tools without knowledge and strategy could very easily backfire on your business. While Barney Fife represents all that could go wrong in the social media world, Andy Taylor stands at the other end of the spectrum as the community's capable leader, loved and respected by everyone in town. Last month we profiled Sheriff Taylor to help us understand how he was so successful at keeping Mayberry safe while at the same time maintaining the affection of the citizens he policed. After looking deeper into his service to the public, we discovered his success came not from what he did on the job day to day, or even how he went about it, but from why he did what he did. Sheriff Taylor didn't look at the job as a means to financial gain or higher public standing. He looked at his job as a way to better the lives of the people around him. This is what motivated him each day to keep Mayberry safe, and what gave him the trust and goodwill of the community. The principle of the why can be found in most business success stories. We profiled a handful last month, including Apple, Red Bull, and Tom's Shoes. These businesses exist not to make money, but to provide a benefit to the community. Apple set out to revolutionize the way we interact with technology and entertainment. Red Bull's mission is to give you wings and take your life to new heights with new experiences. And Tom's Shoes wants to improve the quality of life for people around the world by giving shoes to those who have none. Every business has a purpose. Your business has a purpose, whether you've identified it or not. Your customers will come to you for a product or service that will benefit their lives in some way. Discovering your business's purpose is as easy as identifying the benefit your customers gain from purchasing with you. You can either be a plumbing company that sells water heaters to make money, or you can be a local tradesman looking to make people's lives safer and more comfortable by providing water heaters. See the difference? Which one would your customers prefer doing business with? Which one would your customers trust more? Hopefully, you've had some time to think in the last few weeks about your business's purpose or why you do what you do. Identifying the why, however, is just the first step in the process. Just because you may think of your product or service as a great benefit to the community doesn't mean your market sees it that way. You must now communicate the why. So how do you convince your target market that you're selling water heaters or greeting cards or smoothies or guitar lessons or new roofs for their benefit and not your own? Once you've accomplished that, you'll have customers. But you don't want to stop there. You want those customers to connect with you and be loyal to you. Even better, you want those customers to share your message with their friends and family and bring you more customers. These people are what we call at Social Media Traction brand advocates. They not only buy from you, but they appreciate what you do so much They rave about you to everyone they know. We all know how powerful an unsolicited customer testimonial can be, right? Brand advocates are the crown jewel of customers. Communities are built around brand advocates. Aunt Bee was building a community of sorts. She wanted to keep the Taylor family ties strong. She also wanted to enjoy the citizens of Mayberry as a close-knit, bonded-together group. The center of her community was her home-cooked meals. Her cooking was her product, so to speak. And she had many brand advocates. Sheriff Taylor, Opie, Barney, and just about everyone in town raved about her cooking. But this didn't happen by accident. Aunt Bee cultivated her community and developed brand advocates by communicating the why to those around her. Sure, her food was delicious, but instead of talking about the features of her fried chicken and biscuits, she talked about the value of family and manners and hospitality. She shared whatever she could, whenever she could. New people in town were introduced to her home cooking when she contributed meals to community and church events, or when she took picnic baskets to the jail. There are many ways to communicate your mission with potential and current customers. Some are explicit, and some are merely implied by your actions. But there really is no better place to communicate why you do what you do than social media. It's difficult to create a connection with a potential customer and gain his or her trust and favor in a 30-second radio ad, or TV spot for that matter. It's even more difficult to do that with a billboard or in-store signage. Besides the fact that most people will skip over your newspaper ads, fast forward through your commercials, and change the station on the radio, even if your audience does hear your message, they're filtering it through the lens of paid advertising. With traditional media, the audience knows businesses have paid to get their message in front of the viewer or listener, and they will receive a message with a certain level of skepticism. Social media is an opt-in communication channel. A business must talk with the audience, not just to the audience. Consumers can respond to marketing messages publicly in real time. Consumers can also opt out of the conversation at any time. If they don't like or appreciate what you're saying, they can leave the conversation, never to hear from you again. This poses its own set of challenges, but the payoff is huge. Trust and goodwill can be built much more easily in a conversation. There's a certain level of transparency that comes from making yourself available in the social networks. Other users can not only see what you've been saying over time, but now they can see what others have been saying about you and how you respond. Social networks are a tremendous resource for building trust, growing your community, and developing brand advocates. As Aunt Bee shows us, the best way to develop brand advocates is to communicate why you do what you do. Let's look at the two most important lessons Aunt Bee can teach us about communicating the why. Number one, don't sell, tell. It's 2013. You would think this issue would be a thing of the past. But go visit 100 business pages in any particular social network and you'll find 50 of them selling products instead of telling stories. No one knows better than Aunt Bee. The key to a great dinner party is good food and good stories. In the same way, the key to audience engagement and customer interaction is a good product and a good story. People tune out sales pitches, but they'll grab onto a good story. Tell the story of how you came to be in business. Tell the story of your products and your services. Tell stories that demonstrate how product or services that you sell help accomplish your business's mission. Tell stories of how customers have benefited from your product, or better yet, have your customers tell those stories. Keep telling those same stories in different ways. Record an interview on video with people from every level of your team, sharing who they are, where they came from, and how they're connected to your business. Create blog posts that tell compelling stories about product research and development. Paint pictures of consumers living without your product. Then tell how life would be different with your product. Tell stories using statistics. Post pictures and describe what's happening in the caption. A picture can tell 1,000 words. In contrast, using phrases like buy now, call now, don't miss out, save big, will mostly have the reverse effect of a good story. Your audience will be quickly turned off. They didn't connect with you in the social networks to have you talk at them. They connected with you to have you talk with them. In 2009, Ford decided to promote its new release, the Ford Fiesta, by telling, not selling. Instead of using traditional advertising to spread the word about its new model, Ford gave free vehicles to 100 select bloggers and online influencers. These 100 recipients were charged with the task of driving the vehicle and telling stories about their experiences. In addition to saving a fortune in ad costs, Ford fared pretty well. The campaign generated 4.3 million YouTube views in the first 6 months, and as a result, 500,000 individuals expressed interest in the vehicle before it ever even hit the market. Lesson number 2, give, and give some more. Aunt Bee rarely missed an opportunity to give away her home cooking. That's what made her so endearing. She looked for opportunities to give. The same principle applies in your social media marketing plans. Give whatever you can give. Giving your knowledge and insights on industry topics establishes you not only as a generous member of the community, but as a thought leader, an expert in your field. Giving time and energy to answer questions and provide feedback builds goodwill among prospects and loyalty among customers. Giving away free products or services can generate buzz in your market and quickly grab your audience's attention. It can also be used to reward frequent customers and brand advocates and make them feel valued. We have a prime example of giving everything you can right here in our own backyard in Middle Tennessee. Dave Ramsey, you may have heard of him, is an author, radio host, TV personality, and motivational speaker on financial matters. All things financial. Dave has written 4 New York Times bestsellers, and selling books is how he makes money. But every day you can hear Dave on the radio broadcasting to over 500 stations worldwide and giving out free financial advice to anyone who calls his show with a question. Dave Ramsey is essentially giving away his product. You would think this would undermine his business. On the contrary, Dave sold over 2.5 million copies of his first book alone, and that number continues to grow. He sells out arenas wherever he goes. By giving so much away, Dave Ramsey has convinced his audience that his mission to help people succeed financially is more important to him than selling books. Dave has not only identified why he does business, but he's effectively communicated why he does business. And he's established credibility and trust within his community. By giving, and more giving, Dave has also added countless brand advocates who read his books and then convince their family, friends, and community groups to do the same. Clearly identifying your business's mission is vital. But just knowing why you do what you do is not enough to build a community of brand advocates around your business. You must communicate your mission effectively in your market. And social media offers a perfect platform for you to do just that. Don't sell to your audience. Connect with your audience. by telling them compelling stories about who you are, what you do, and why you do it. Lastly, give as much as you can, and then look for ways to give more. You'll endear yourself to the audience, you'll add fans, you'll build trust, and establish yourself as the source for all things related to your industry. Remember, Mark, in Mayberry, when anyone thought of home cooking, they always thought of Aunt B. And it wasn't because of her catchy radio jingle.
You're absolutely right. Thank you, Matt. Over the next several months of Social Media Traction University, we'll unpack the principles of Mayberry. We'll provide you the education and application for you to understand and implement a successful social media communications strategy for your business, one that will actually help you make money. Both Matt and I and some special guests will lead you through the matrix of understanding, designing, developing, managing, and implementing. We believe with the right elements, you'll succeed and gain real benefits from your efforts. If you're an owner or a C-level executive, I certainly encourage you to attend every session. It's critically important that you understand and support those that you have empowered to be social on your behalf. If you're an administrator, you'll absolutely want to be in attendance every step of the way and taking notes. We'll be providing you foundational building blocks, strategic concepts, and practical applications in every session. Join us again next month for Monetizing Mayberry, when we'll feature Mayberry's Incredible Medicine Man.